Hello. So for my media project, I chose to make an Instagram account or an Instagram page. And the topic that I chose, or my focus was on the lack of psychological care for stroke survivors. And the Instagram page that I made it and I named it Stroke Survivor Support. And it actually fits in with the month because May is Stroke Awareness Month. That's a bonus. And so about my media, a little bit of background. What got me interested was my grandmother. She had a stroke a few months back. So that, like, naturally I've just been on my own time kind of researching that. So that's what interested me into diving into this type of topic. And in regards to the class, I chose, or initially I had my teammates, 5 guys. I gave them some questions, and in regards to my media, I asked them, can you describe any instances where the media content you've consumed has influenced your emotions or mood? Or, like, how did it impact you? And the theme of that type of response, the type of responses that I got were like, well, that going through the Instagram page that I made and knowing my personal experience, because I mean, they're my teammates, I've talked to them about it. And they felt more inclined to know more about it, research more on their own. Another question I had asked was, how has the media content you've engaged with influenced your views on psychology or mental health? And then the theme of an answer for that was, not only seeing the posts on your page, but also going through your following, I feel I was able to gain more direction on information regarding mental health. And a third question that I had asked was, have you ever noticed any discrepancies between the portrayal of mental health issues in media and the reality of those issues in your own life or the lives of people you know? And a general answer was that media sometimes suggests that therapy or medication can miraculously solve mental health issues overnight, while the actual recovery process can be more complex and time-consuming. A fourth question, have you ever taken any actions or made any decisions based on information or ideas presented in the media content? And so I also had my family going into my project as a focus, since you gave me an extension or to redo this. Sorry. And this one was more like, my family's answer was like, changing dietary habits and other habits that may lead to susceptibility to things like a stroke. And the fifth question, do you believe that the media content has the power to shape societal perceptions and attitudes towards certain groups? And I got, media representation of certain communities can challenge stereotypes and promote inclusivity. And then tying it into concepts that we learned throughout the semester was, I remember one in the first DQ that we did, which talked about media literacy, which is the ability to access, analyze, evaluate, create, and act using all forms of communication. And in my case, it was the Instagram. People can visit the page, interact with it as like seeing who I'm following, and my page follows a lot of other similar pages as to mine. So it just kind of like acts as a spider web. People can choose different pages, and then from there look at other pages, just more information, access on that same type of topic. And then, in general, my media instills a positive influence in that type of group who searches out that type of information. And another concept that we learned in class goes to the second DQ that we had, which was on pro-social behavior specifically, which is a broad category of acts that are defined by a significant segment of society or one social group that is beneficial to other people. So I think my Instagram page fits right into the example of a public health awareness campaign. So in terms of, that. And then the last, or the third concept that stuck out to me was how the digital media, in regards to community and identity, what stuck out to me were the 5 characteristics that we discussed between online communities and real life, which were a shared space, a shared practice, shared resources, support, shared identities, and interpersonal relationships. And I think in my Instagram account that I made has those characteristics. I mean, people who may have personal experience with that topic, of they know someone who is a stroke survivor, and it can give them a shared space to look at information, maybe see the link that I put on the bio to learn more about how psychological care is very beneficial for the recovery process. And then that's a resource in itself, which is a characteristic. And then maybe people, as the page can grow and gets more of a following, or gets shared like that among people, among individuals, then that can create some type of interpersonal relationship. And then going back to the focus group, so when you gave me the extension to redo it, I had my family also partake in it, and my impressions were, I figured they weren't really going to know. They do know, given our personal situation with my grandmother. There's an impression that they have an idea, and then the interpretations were that they thought it was very informative. They were actually surprised that, it actually seemed it looked professional in the sense, and that kind of gave it credibility. My page it looked credible, and that's an impact that I saw. And then same with my teammates when I had them look at it. They're my age, they're not really looking into those type of topics, but them knowing me, they wanted to help me out. And I got them to read the questions, answer the questions, look at my page, explore it, and they definitely I saw a peak of interest, more, maybe even it instilled more of an emotional, a good emotional response. They know me, so they know what I'm going through, so maybe that played a part. But the page itself, they saw that I took time to make it, and they also saw oh, it looks really good. And that's what I got from that. And that is all I have. Thank you, Professor.